If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VillageXchange. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of a Dream Theater stream. I'm not a Dream Theater fan, but I can be converted. I'm not going to say I've been converted to Dream Theater-ism, okay? Stop it.
You've just given a lot of 9s out tonight.
But I will say...
Even to the playlist.
It's been a lot of 9s given out today. But this is a Dream Theater that I've never heard before.
Right.
This is an underrated Dream Theater album, an overlooked Dream Theater album, would you say?
Dwayne.
What did Dwayne say?
Well, Ben was answering somebody's question about what we gave for scores. Dancing on a 10, phrases reused, and then Dwayne says, Ben Bears, our Vin and Sori historian. Yeah, he's gonna let you know what's going on.
Yeah, see, exactly. A lot of you fools like Kellendross don't know the difference between 9 and 9. You know, like I'm saying,
Yes.
9. Okay, dear listener, here we go. Song numero 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Light fuse and get away.
Yeah, we recommend that for everybody that's lighting fireworks. Light the fuse and get the fuck out of the way.
Like it's gonna end well, because it doesn't sound like it started well. Light fuse and get away.
If you ever watch those videos of like firework fails, not violent ones, but just like the and watching everybody run is pretty funny.
Here's Sori trying to like salvage some sort of morality. She's like, not the violent ones.
No, not the violent one. I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Dear listeners, show me a firework fail video that is not violent.
No, there's a bunch of them. The stuff will start spinning around and everybody's running like crazy and they look terrified.
Where are they running from?
They're running from the fireworks, but nobody gets hurt in it. Those are the ones I want to see. I just, fear, panic.
Light fuse and getaway Dream Theater. Let's do it. Lies. Talk to the people.
Oh, so Vinny's lying. We're not starting yet.
Yeah.
Ben says, Vin and Sori, also the Epica song you were looking for, I'm pretty sure is Kingdom of Heaven. Ben, please, for the love, send me a text message. Not a text, I mean an email. And say that information on it. Yeah, exactly. The Wackator. I don't want to see somebody's arm blown off.
You're looking for an Epica song?
Well, actually, I don't know if this is the song that I've been looking for years. There was a song that we reacted to. It was a band that I think reminds me, like when I hear Epica, I always think maybe that was the band, but I don't know. And I usually don't work with an orchestra, but they were working with an orchestra. There was a female vocalist, which I don't know if she was part of the band or if she was an add-on because of the the orchestra. She had these big boots on, and it was very theatrical. There was a lot of lights. Like, the stage had multiple sections with multiple orchestras. It was crazy. I loved the song, and I wanted it on my playlist, and I've said so many times I'm going to put that on the playlist and then never did, so
Light
it sucks.
Fuse, Get Away.
So maybe that's it. I'm going to check it out, Ben. Thank you. Get Away.
That's interesting. Audio. Rush, Light Fuse, was it
No,
Light
it
Fuse
wasn't
and
Rush.
Getaway?
It's
Rush.
not Rush. This is Dream Theater. DT, Dream Theater.
That was, I kept seeing Rush
I
in
know,
the
people were
comments
saying
section.
Rush.
Every 2 seconds I was seeing Rush in the comment section, so I was like, oh, where we, okay, we got Rush
Your
in
mind
there.
switched on.
Mine.
It's interesting. I liked the second half of this song more than the first half. The first half of the song, I felt like, you know, sometimes my teenagers are in the middle of a heated discussion with each other, and it just feels like it's been going on for like a long time, and then you start asking them what's going on, and you start realizing that to figure out the end of this thing, to like come to a conclusion, you're gonna have to go back in time and listen to the whole story. And that's how I felt like I was jumping into this Dream Theater song, and I felt like maybe because it's an album review and we took a break in between this song and this previous song, maybe that's why I felt like that. But I felt like that, like rushing to catch up, and I couldn't really get in with it. Plus, it's also like prog, so it's already hard to keep switching.
There are a couple of
but when it got to the halfway point and all that,
there are a couple of rhythm changes and things that I thought were like head scratchers. You know, but then I just say, well, I mean, it's prog. That's what those people do.
Yep. Okay.
Lyrically, but that solo was incredible. Somebody said like the solo was like Queensryche, Rush, and Megadeth.
That's all.
And I don't know enough Queensryche, but I definitely heard Rush and Megadeth in that solo for sure. It's very funny because every time I hear Rush, I have a lot of respect for that band. Their fans are very particular people. They're very interesting people. Like the comment section in our Rush reviews are always interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're very, very interesting. There was one of their like big songs. I just didn't like it. And oh man, like they just couldn't accept that I didn't like one of the biggest songs in their favorite band. They're like, oh, you're just doing this to get views. I'm like, I don't think you understand how this works. Like, I'd get a lot more views if
we liked it.
Gave it a positive.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
this is
like
the best song ever.
Yeah. Like when you hear a song get hyped up like that, like every reactor knows like you're supposed to like that song. But you guys know how we are. We're a little bit stubborn about like
telling you the truth.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's commitment to truth as it is. It's probably just an ego thing. I'm not gonna say I like something if I don't like it. I don't care how popular the band is. I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
I mean, the one thing that I do feel bad about the whole situation is that there are times like with Judas Priest that we change our minds after the fact. So we might have scored at something, and we might have changed
Well,
it.
yeah,
but there are also times
but
where I
at
gave
the
something a
time
high
period-
score,
at the
and then I
time
went
period-
back and listened to it because I thought I was going to really like it, and I was like, that's...
The time
scored
period
that
when
too
I
high.
scored it, I thought it was trash. So I scored it accordingly. You know, we've been in the game for a little bit. You know, there's a lot of reactors out there. Well, I don't know. They're kind of dropping like flies. It's tough. You know, if you didn't build a strong community about 2-3 years ago, like dudes are looking in the mirror like, yo, why am I doing this? It's like, well, there's a whole community of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a community of people
Yeah.
and you're actually friends with these people, then you have to find different things that motivate you.
Yeah. I'm still seeing people, you know, messaging and saying like, hey, I've been watching this stuff for a while and I've never commented. But like, this is super meaningful to me. So when people say stuff like that, I'm always like, wow, that's crazy.
great.
That's so crazy that we're doing something like, I mean, this is how we support our family. You know what I mean? This is our job, you know, and we're able to do this. And then at the same time, it's still able to like,
It's significant work.
yeah, do something significant for people. Right. Yeah.
If I had Harlequin Forest to listen to again, I would probably score it lower than what I actually scored it. Okay, what did you think the song was about?
Let's dig into the lyrics. Let's check it out.
Would you like to sit and talk to me about the way things changed so suddenly when your senses come and the feeling goes? Can you remember feeling much too close? Stop your hands from shaking. Look at me. Are your senses racing endlessly, tracing past impressions? So were mine. Have you ever been used, or will be this the first time? So that line was very interesting to me,
Yeah.
considering what we've been through in the first couple songs, which was about being, you know, used by the record label and then having to deal with that. The previous song about the soldier, who's
Right.
essentially a used person by, you know, government people who was controlling the killing hand.
I actually thought this was a relationship song, to be honest with you.
So when I agree, it was some sort of relationship. What did you think?
I mean romantic relationship. Every time I say relationship, that's always
But
what I
no,
mean.
I think it's.
I would say brother and sister or a friendship.
I had the impression that this was a dude who was talking to a prostitute.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Like, he bought time with this girl, and that's when he says, "Have you ever been used, or will this be your first time?" That's where I got the idea. So if you go back and have that in your mind, would you like to sit and talk to me about the way things change so suddenly? When your senses come and the feeling goes, can you remember feeling much too close? You know, or like you getting too close to your clientele type of thing? Go ahead.
I'm taking this as he's talking to the girl and he's saying like, come and sit, not a prostitute, somebody he was in a relationship with. And he's saying like, you want to come and sit and talk about this, the way that things change suddenly. And he says, when your senses come and the feeling goes. So like you come back to your senses and you're like, yo, I'm not trying to build something with this person.
Right.
And the feelings go. Can you remember feeling much too close? Like, holy shit, I didn't have it with this person. I got way too close to this person. And now that my senses are clearing, I'm realizing it. And then he says, stop your hands from shaking. Look at me. Because are your senses racing endlessly? So like they're coming to this realization. It's like really affecting them. And then he says, tracing past impressions. So were mine. I don't know if he's saying like he's looking back and first impressions that you get off from people, like maybe he's replaying situations that happened and he's like, oh, that's different than how I thought it was. Knowing this now, knowing that I dove in too deep, or knowing that she dove in too deep and now her feelings have changed, because I think he's talking to her. So knowing that her feelings have changed and that all has happened, like tracing back to all those different things and seeing like maybe it wasn't like you thought it was when you were in the heat of the moment. And then he says, have you ever been used, or will this be the first time? Because maybe he is realizing that it was never that deep. So then recognizing it as like he's kind of used her because he thought, or she thought, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah, and then light the fuse and get away.
Right. In other words, we're going to end this and get the fuck out of here. Like, it's not.
Well, it looks to me like he's saying.
Say what you have to say.
She lit a fuse in his heart, but now she's gone. So like she.
It's a fatal game.
He feels all these feelings for her, but now she's gone. So he's like,
yeah,
this is you've been playing a game. Like you got me all in my feelings, and now you're leaving.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying about like this is a relationship song, and it would be easy to feel used in that situation, especially considering like, oh, I'm a musician, blah blah blah, and this is his first record, so I get it. It's his first record, so it's like he's not a big rock star yet. See what I'm saying? So maybe he felt a little bit used because like she dropped him because she didn't believe in him. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever.
He says, if you look over here, he says, I can see what trust and loyalty have done for me, falling miles from the mark with a thirst for revenge and a dangerous heart. Yeah. So he's gonna take it out on the next few relationships because this one didn't work. Feelings of betrayal and the incidents that plagued me since I lost my sense of innocence. So yeah, like he's really feeling it, and this is one of those situations again where like he's being taken advantage of. Yeah. Right? Like that seems to be the theme of the record, is like when it talks about like, I think that the record is called like From Day into Night or something like that, or When Dreams Fade into Night or something like that. And it seems to be about like being disillusioned about all these things that you know, right? It's right here. When dream and day unite. Yeah. So it seems to be about being disillusioned. So like, oh, I have this rosy idea about the music industry now, but then you're coming into daylight and seeing what it really is. Oh, I have these. Oh, I love my country. Boom, war. Oh, now we're in this relationship. And now it's catching fireflies and seeing them the next morning.
Yeah, you know, it's all, you know, that's the record to me seems to be about trying to balance the how long should I hold on to an ideal versus embracing reality. And of course, everybody's like, oh, you should always embrace reality. And I don't necessarily think that's true all the time. Like sometimes you can have the ideal. Like, so for example, every football team, their ideal is we win the Super Bowl at the end of the year. Well, one of them is going to attain the ideal. It would be ridiculous for for every team all season to say, we have no chance in the Super Bowl. Well, then why are you playing? Mm-hmm. Like eventually though, if you're at the halfway part of the season and you're 2 games under 500, fine. Now you can be realistic and start talking about next year, this year. So that's what I'm talking about. Like letting go of the ideal for the reality isn't always a good thing. Sometimes that's giving up when you actually had a choice, had an opportunity to actually attain that ideal. And sometimes a lot of people can't get over that missed opportunity. Like, you see this in sports. Like there's some sports team where a decision was made that was a very bad decision that in that one moment cost you a championship, and the next year they can't get over it. Like that's happened. And so giving up too early on ideal can be just as traumatic as living in the delusion of an ideal. Because if you hold the ideal too long, then you become delusional. But if you don't hold the ideal long enough, then you become cynical. So I think those are not easy balances to strike.
No. I think, again, what you had said like friggin' 4 reviews ago about the accountability thing, maybe that's part of it. Maybe there's the ideal, and then like when the ideal doesn't get met, maybe just accepting like where it went wrong, or like what you could have done to make it different. Like, because I guess if there's an ideal situation and you want the ideal and then the ideal doesn't happen, but you can see where you steered wrong, then you could probably learn something from it. Obviously, losing an ideal always sucks. Do you agree with that?
What?
When you lose an ideal, like when you realize that, are there times where you've seen that as a positive thing?
Well, I mean, sometimes your ideal is based on your lack of information. So you may think, oh, this in this situation would be the ideal situation, and then you don't get it. but then you look back in hindsight and go, praise God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, God, that shit didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends, you know? Like, but for me, it's like, yeah, trying to balance out being too cynical without being delusional. You know, because everybody celebrates somebody when they accomplish something great, but everybody wants to act like they weren't mocking the person before they were celebrating. So, you know, it just depends. But I think you're absolutely right in your interpretation of the song. I think the relationship didn't turn out well, and you know, he's feeling sorry for himself because he talked about trust and loyalty. Like, this is what happens to people who have trust and loyalty. The fact of the matter is, being able to be a trustworthy person and being a loyal person is your privilege. Like, people think that being a trustworthy and loyal person is like something you're doing for the other person. Being a trustworthy and a loyal person, being able to look yourself in the face and say, I stayed loyal to my person, that is in itself the privilege. By itself is the value. You know, it's kind of like, I saw a quote that kind of like, you know, went semi-viral in our little forum, and the quote was, if you give charity to somebody and then bring it up when you have a disagreement with them, you were not doing charity, you were buying allegiance. Right? You were making an investment in yourself that put that person now in your debt, and that person is now duty bound to never disagree with you publicly. But it's the same thing with relationships. Were you loyal to that person only so that they could reciprocate that loyalty? Or were you loyal to the person because you were loyal to the person? Because if you're loyal to the person only up to the point where they reciprocate loyalty, then you were loyal to yourself. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being loyal to yourself. But when the thing doesn't turn out the way you don't want it to, don't say that you were loyal to the other person, and that's not what happened. If you're loyal to the other person for the sake of the other person, it doesn't matter how that other person treats you, because you're a loyal person in and of yourself. So, you know, and that's something that only you and God can know. Not even your partner can know that. I believe certain things, but only you and God know where you're actually at with with those principles. So he's taking it, and you know, again, it's their first record. He's probably in his 20s, so he's not taking the most mature or productive response to the perceived disloyalty of the other person. But I think as you get older, you start to realize that a lot of your principles have to be internal, and they cannot be contingent on the responses of anybody else, especially the person closest to you, because you're the least likely to be objective.
Just go to the bathroom.
No, don't go to the bathroom.
He doesn't have
You're least likely to be objective about what's going on.
Just wait, Reza. Sit right there.
With the person closest to you than otherwise. So it's a better thing to just be a loyal person, because that's who you are with your internal principles, and you don't allow somebody to rob you of your next relationship, because now he's saying he's bent on vengeance with a dangerous heart, and you're not. 9 times out of 10, especially if the relationship didn't go well and the person betrayed you, you're not getting any vengeance on them. They've moved on with their life. There's no way that you can avenge yourself on them. You can only avenge yourself on the next relationship. And what the hell did they do to deserve that? So it's a very important song, very important lyrics. I would just say be careful. It's a solid 9 for me. Solid 9 for me.
I agree. 9 for me as well.
Shout out to Ray Phoenix. Gorgoroth has insulted us.
No, you smell like old cheese.
I smell like old cheese.
That's what they were saying, that we smell like old cheese.
That's a compliment. All right, guys, we'll be back. We are, man, these guys. You know, the other thing about Dream Theater is that dude can write his ass off. Whoever the lyricists, maybe they do it by committee, but because they're so exaggerated in what they can do on guitar, they don't really get called out for being lyricists. So it's cool to be able to like listen to a bunch of, you know, Dream Theater back, especially like you're getting like a stream of consciousness.
I
So
love
yeah,
that it's
like
all one
these
album.
guys can also write lyrics as well as write, you know, musical soundscapes, which I almost never hear from Dream Theater or even their fans. So there you go. All right, guys. We shall return.
We'll be
More
right back.
Dream Theater on the other side. We're doing an entire album review. Find me another reaction channel that's doing that, dear listener, with a band as unique as Dream Theater. We'll see you on the other side of the break.